What's up, everybody? I'm having severe PC issues right now, so bear with us. We don't really have any moving parts per se this post-mortem. So the severe frame skips we were seeing with my little splash screen there shouldn't be an issue. But welcome. This is the third Valiant Gamers Game of the Month post-mortem. And this time for the Mega Man Legends series, one of my favorites. I'm Selbaek. I am the one who played. And with me are Random Encounter and Althena.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
And please let us know at home if you can hear us okay.
Please.
Let us know if there are any volume issues, as there tend to be. But yeah.
It is especially important tonight with the rate of my PC. So we got through both the original game and its sequel in 6 streams. Pretty crazy.
You did an amazing job to not just get through the first game, but to get through the second game and still, have time enough for a postmortem at the end. So good job.
And I mean, really, we ended up getting a twofer this go around. It wasn't just enough to bring us a single game. Scott was just like, hell no. Let's give the people what they want. Let's throw in a goddamn sequel while we're at it.
I wish... Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say almost the entire Mega Man Legends series, not including the Misadventures of Tronbon, but
right.
You got 1 and 2, so...
I was just about to say, I wish I could have gotten some misadventures in there as well, but, busy life. I couldn't stream more than twice a week, so. But we got 2 games in, and there's a little bit of lore connecting it to the previous games. I'd like to get into that just a little bit because there's not much to say right before we get into the music. But this game is supposed to take place so far in the future of all the other games that you don't really need to know anything about the other games jumping into it. And it's kind of nice. It's its own little Mega Man adventure. You don't have to worry about replicas or whatever other terms there are in the Mega Man series. It's so convoluted before Legends.
So you say that, and my understanding is the Mega Man X series takes place in the future of the original Mega Man games. So It's beyond that too, correct?
It is well beyond that. Yeah, this is thousands of years, I believe, beyond that whole hullabaloo of Mega Man X, Mega Man Star Network, Mega Man... What's the other one?
I am not a Mega Man
You're not a Mega Man?
So I'm not a Mega Man. I'm a Mega Woman. Thank you.
Well, you're Mega in my eyes, regardless.
Thank you.
She's a hardworking Mega Woman that don't need no Mega Man.
Damn right.
But yeah, so if anybody was concerned that they weren't getting anything that they probably should have if they had played any of the games prior to the Legend series, don't worry about it. There are very small, almost Easter egg-like references to things from previous games, like some of the stuff you dig out of the ruins and renovate for Mega Man's arsenal and stuff. There's no real heavy lore ties to the previous games, so this is just a fun little romp that stands on its own. And that being said, the 3 of us have picked out some of our favorite picks from the games. And so I'm going to play that now and hope to Christ it doesn't break anything. So here we go.
Crossing our fingers. Let's go.
Yeah.
about an hour, we'll be arriving at our destination, Catalog's Island. Double-check your equipment readings and make sure everything's in working order. I swear this treasure will be ours or my name's not Bond. Let's do it!
Gramps, can you open up the number 11 valve again?
Got it!
What are you looking at? Oh. It's a dog! Oh, what happened this time? I can't take my eyes off you for a second, can I? Just you wait till we get back. You're in a lot of trouble. Oh, let's go! Tigers!
Oh, you're mine, little boy. I'll get you!
I'm going to fire up the engine, Mega Man. You grab that blue lever there. Gotcha. 3, 2, 1. Mega Man, now! Here goes. It worked! Up and away!
Let's go.
That's it!
Fire!
Keep it up!
It looks like they're serious. They want to go out fighting just like cornered rats. On your toes, everyone!
No more playing around! I'll show them! Everyone ready? We're moving out! Tigers! It's not over between you and me. I won't forgive you if you die or anything stupid like that. Be careful in there, okay?
Come on, hurry up! He's getting away!
This is Mega Man Jr., bureaucratic monitoring class. Authorization number 8677. Requesting a reinitialization of this island systems and memory backup of its bureaucrats.
Stop! Stop it!
Eden systems ready, awaiting confirmation. Requested backup of bureaucratic model Mega Man Juno complete. Execution of Catalog's reinitialization program will commence in 100 seconds.
What should I do? Interrupt command. Priority command rerouted to purify our first class Mega Man trigger. Mega Man trigger hereby requests the indefinite postponement of the previous reinitialization order and the deletion of bureaucratic model Juno's backup data. Well, I don't know, but don't ever forget
Those are some nice tracks. It's a shame my computer started to shit the bed and we didn't get to hear smooth music. Apologies for that.
It's all right. We're just going with the flow.
Anyway, yeah, I really, really enjoyed my time with this game. You know how you look fondly back on some games and you're like, man, I freaking loved that game as a kid, and you go to play it and it's like, oh no, it didn't hold up at all. No, this held every expectation I had from my memories as a child, and I'm really glad I went through it again.
I definitely feel myself like wishing that I had like a chance with this game when I was younger too. This is a lot of fun. I really, you did a great job on your streams, and yeah, I had a lot of fun watching this.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Selbaek, with the whole like going back to it thing. That's kind of what I anticipated a little bit when I went back and played Lunar again. Not that I played it when I was a kid; I played it when I was a teen. But I was just kind of worried that I would go back and play it like as a someone twice the age of the person that I was when I originally played it, and was like, that just it didn't hold up as well as I thought, and I was pleasantly surprised. But yeah, no, I totally understand how you feel. I was never a huge Mega Man player, not because I didn't like it or didn't want to. I just didn't really have access to it. Um, I remember renting a couple Mega Man games a few times as a kid, but I just never really played a lot of it. But from what I saw, it did look really fun.
I have to. I mean, it's a big tone shift too, because I played some of the original Mega Man games, Mega Man X games growing up, and have fond memories of those. I remember reading about this game when it came out and just looking at the screenshots, like an RPG with Mega Man. That's quite a tonal shift.
Yeah, Mega Man 2 was my jam. I have played that game in and out so much as a kid. Of course, it was the only Mega Man game I owned, so that kind of set that precedent. I don't think I liked any of the other regular Mega Mans over 2, and it's probably because it's the one I was comfortable with. But then Mega Man X came out, and that changed everything. But going into the 3D gaming space that was this 5th generation of gaming, we had games like Mario 64 and all that stuff that kind of set the precedent for leaps and bounds beyond what a 2D game could do. And Capcom did a really good job with this. Really good. I think this came out the same year as Ocarina of Time, and that was just for adventure games that play like this, that was a treat. That was a very treatful year.
It's interesting you brought up Mario 64, because a lot of series were making this transition from 2D to 3D. Some, like Mario, handled that transition expertly. Others did not, and it took them a while to find their stride. Looking at you, Castlevania 64, and then I think it was I don't think it was a bad choice in the long run. I mean, they could have tried to bring that old school Mega Man action to 3D. And I don't know how successful that would have been for them. So turning it more into an adventure / RPG, I think, was definitely a prudent direction to take.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You say bringing that Mega Man action to the 3D space. I believe they had a project in development for that around the time Keiji Inafune left the company. I know they had Mega Man Legends 3 in production. And I think we all remember the Mario Maker-esque Mega Man game that they were promoting back in that day. But they also had just a small, pre-alpha preview screenshot of a first-person Mega Man game that was supposed to be more serious in tone and play like a Metroid Prime. And I really wonder how that would have played out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what. I don't think they've never, aside from Mega Man Legends and Trombone, they never really did make a 3D Mega Man game. Even what's the name of Keiji Inafune's his Kickstarter game once he left Capcom?
It was Red something.
Oh,
And
chat.
so
Chat, please.
Mighty Number 9 was the game he put on
Thank
Kickstarter, and
you.
everybody
Thank you. That's the one.
went for. But Red Ash is the name of the game he was going to use in that same universe as Mighty Number
Okay.
9, and it was
Okay.
going to
I was
be
just
his Mega Man
asking.
Legends successor.
Yeah, it's just, but all of those games have still been on the 2D axis, and I would love to see like an actual, action oriented Mega Man in 3D, but nonetheless.
Man, he not to knock Keiji Inafune, he's good at what he does, but he really botched his entire idea with the whole franchise. Mighty Number 9 was a flop. It took forever beyond the promised date to come out. He promised way too many platforms, wearing his development team pretty thin. And then he tried to what did he do? He got a Kickstarter started to fund Red Ash, and then he started another Kickstarter for it in order to I forget the drama behind it, but it was going to become like this huge series. He put a lot of eggs in one basket, and they didn't just crack, they completely broke.
Yeah, I feel like Kickstarter as a platform to fund games has been marred by a lot of stories like that. That's kind of another conversation, but it's a shame that
Yes.
that didn't work out so well for him. But yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about the games.
Yeah. Now
Well,
I'll
I'm
excuse
sorry,
me.
go ahead.
I'll let you talk about the games, and I'll add my input as I can. I don't know as much about it as you do, but so you were going to say something random. Sorry.
I was just going to say, we're going to let the streamer who
This-
brought us
this-
the action go first here,
The
and
streamer.
I will follow you, Nicole, if that's cool.
I appreciate you guys being my spotters in this dig. I loved these games as a kid. I love these games today. Starting with the first game, mechanically speaking, the controls were a little clunky. I had to remember that you can't really move while you're locking a target, so I just kind of had to use what I call the circle method, where you circle around a monster while holding a shoulder button in order to turn while moving and just shoot in the breeze. The game has an auto target where the little beams that come out of Mega Man's Buster will go to the enemy that is kind of in focus on the screen. But like it needed some work, and it needed some advancements in terms of the controls, which they addressed pretty well in Mega Man Legends 2. Regarding the first game anyway, Barry, what were your takes? I know you were taking some notes.
I did. Again, I didn't grow up with these games, so it was an entirely new experience to me. Playing just a little bit of a sample of the two games to just kind of get the feel for it. And I played a lot of games on the PS1 with tank controls, thinking Resident Evil, the Kingsfield games, and not really a huge fan of tank controls. But having said that, my impression was surprisingly responsive for a game with such controls.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, things just got better from Mega Man Legends 2. It felt like there was a couple extra lock-on features in 2 that helped a lot. And just watching your movement too was definitely an improvement. So I agree with you on that. Game, it could have felt a lot worse than it did, but is all right.
It's actually pretty funny going into 2. I knew I knew I could use the analog sticks, and I still found myself, and this is just muscle memory from playing Mega Man Legends 1 so much as a child. I always found myself using the D-pad and the shoulder buttons for movement instead of the analog sticks. And I kept having to try and tell myself and reteach myself, no, you can use this in a modern fashion now. Do it.
You don't use anything in a modern fashion. What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
We don't really do modern here.
The entire time I've known you, you are always like, well, it has to be completely pure to the original vision.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Not modern as in today's standards. Modern as in what the game wanted you to do because DualShock controllers were a thing at that point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think we've given our impressions here. Nicole, just you watching passively, what did you take of the gameplay?
Well, the only thing that I really got from it was that when I was watching is that I probably would be a bit frustrated with it. I'm sure I would get the hang of it and enjoy it. But I remember thinking to myself, watching it, is like, this is the kind of game that I probably wouldn't have spent a lot of time to try to get to like. I don't know if that makes sense, but it just didn't seem like my type of game that I usually would gravitate towards. That being said, I will definitely give anything a try, and I'm sure, like I said, I would have enjoyed it, but it just doesn't like appeal to me on a base level. But I like the story, I like the characters, the voice acting was great. I definitely got into the story and the characters and all of that as you were playing through the first and the second game. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fair point. I think, if it's just not your kind of game, I think you can kind of get a feel for that really quickly. It would be kind of like if somehow, some way, like a soccer game got nominated as game of the month here, we would definitely play it. If that's what the community wants to see, we would do it. I could tell you, I could walk away from that saying, I probably wouldn't have been super enthusiastic about this as a kid, but it is interesting to watch and enjoy something vicariously that you may not pick out yourself, and that's, I think, what I would kind of hope to see out of our game of the month series is a chance for outside perspectives and maybe some ideas we wouldn't have come up with ourselves, because I think the three of us here have some pretty similar tastes, and I imagine we probably have similar taste to everybody in chat, but we do want you guys to surprise us with some good and maybe games that are not necessarily in our wheelhouse, but
Absolutely, yeah.
Having said all that, I agree with you. I don't think that the story was anything super epic, but it wasn't trying to be. It's a fun story. It's
I know.
I couldn't tell you all the major story beats, but at the same time, it was just charming. Like, the voice acting was cheesy in a good way. It knew that it was cheesy, and it just owned up to it.
It gave me the same vibes, and I hate bringing everything back to Lunar because, well, I guess I'm an Althena, so I can do that. But it gave me the same kind of vibes in that it was kind of like 90s nostalgic, comfy, and it felt like a 90s anime, and it wasn't trying to lie about it. It just was what it was, and I kind of love that kind of thing. So, yeah, I went with it.
I would love.
Wanderbox is being very evil right now. Somebody needs to keep our eye on him.
What?
Sorry, go ahead.
I would love, speaking of evil thoughts, I would love, Althena, for you to play Bloodborne and find the similarities between that and Lunar.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. Oh no.
Not next
So,
stream. I think I would prefer you to play Lunar too. Next stream, next game of the month, you play a game.
Well, I would love to.
I did want to throw in, you mentioned the kind of 90s comfy angle, and I definitely got that too, especially with the first one. Now, this was kind of a point that I knocked on the first one. It's so short. It is truly the quintessential weekend rental. You're out of school, you don't know what to play, you go to the rental store, and you're like, oh shit, what's this game? Wait a minute, this isn't your typical Mega Man. You take it home, easily knock this out in a weekend. Like,
easily.
In fact, obviously, you've shown too, if you're really dedicated, you could probably get this knocked out in a day if you had the wherewithal to do so. In fact, it's probably a little, like, the first game was definitely a little bit too short. It felt like, we've got some great ideas here. We need to get a game out. We'll come back and flesh those out with the sequel, which is exactly what they did. So in terms of the first one, I really enjoyed the music of the first one. Not the strongest music offerings that we've presented here on the channel so far, but still, it's comfy. It's good. Yeah, I would definitely give, like, Mega Man Legends 1 a 3. And that seems kind of low. I'm feeling like I'm going to become Mr. 3 around here, because
that sounds pretty good.
Well,
that's above half.
And really, just the only reason that it's as low as that, it's so short.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I didn't really get to. I mean, I guess I could have, but I didn't want to prolong the monotony. For me, I really love what both of these games do for at least for that time of games, for exploration. They both have these underground ruins where you go and explore, and there's these branching paths that don't lead to anything important, but you could find like an upgrade item or a big chunk of money or something like that. And I love that. I also love revealing maps, and it took every ounce of strength in me not to just run around a room aimlessly to fill in the blocks on my mini map. But I love doing that, and even to this day, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, for example, every large map you go into in that game is very cloudy, and as you travel around, the cloud dissipates around where you've walked. And I have spent countless hours. I've spent countless hours in that game anyway, but countless hours beyond the mini games and side stuff, just revealing parts of the map that don't have anything and don't matter and everything else. Yeah, gotta satisfy the OCD. That is right.
You and I shared the same neurosis on that. I have to complete maps.
And I am the same way. And I was actually going to add on to that. Like I think, well, all three of us agree that we share that same OCD. And we have to finish the maps. I think, again, a lot of people in the chat here today that were with us also agree with that same thing and would not hold it against you at all to do that. In fact, they would probably tell you, no, go back and finish that map. You missed a spot. So
you missed a spot.
You're good.
Oh, that's the worst when you go through all your maps and you realize, oh my God, it's like 15 minutes away.
Yeah, and I respected the effort that you put in to try to explore some of it, but also keep things as streamlined as possible. I mean, you clearly respect the people that view this channel and their time, and that's really cool. I did notice, though, in Mega Man Legends 2, you really do owe it to yourself to go and explore those nooks and cracks and grind a little bit. Because one problem I noticed, not your fault, but really kind of a design of, I think I've made my comments pretty clear on the first game. There's definitely some refinements in the second one. But one problem that I saw creeping up, again and again through the sequel is that if you didn't take the time to explore all the cracks, every single crevasse, as Cancer says, and you don't keep your stuff upgraded, some of those fights just turn into long, just HP spongy slogs. And I could tell your frustration was getting pretty high.
Yeah. I was going to say, with the first game, if I did another stream, if I want to continue to stream rather, for, all the bits and bobs on the side there that I missed, I could probably get another good 6-hour stream out of what's left of Mega Man Legends 1. So if you want to get everything, there's a bit of meat there. You can still knock it out in a weekend for sure. But like you said, it's rather short. With 2, however, like you said, there's a lot. And if you don't look for things as avidly as I wanted to, then like you said, things get pretty tough pretty quick. You gotta be like perfect so that you don't take damage while you're dealing very little damage. I think you saw, especially at the end there, where I was really struggling on the first phase of the final boss, and then I go and I just farm a little bit of money and get some upgrades, and suddenly I'm able to beat the game with literally 1 hit remaining.
Yeah, it was a significant difference.
Yeah, that was a great victory there, because I was like, wait, I'm like, he's gonna game over, and then nope, you beat him. So that
every butthole in that chat room clenched together in unison at the same time, there towards the end.
There was a delayed reaction on my butthole clench because I didn't watch it live, but the butthole was clenched. So
also,
that's good to know.
Buttholes.
I figured you'd want to know.
We explore all the cracks and clench our buttholes.
Yeah, so I definitely it was a wonderful opportunity to bring us that extra value add. Seeing the sequel to definitely put the first game in a lot more perspective. Enjoyed it a lot. What did you guys think of the graphics of the game? Or both games, I should say.
You're asking the wrong guy. I'm so enamored by this series. They're all endearing to me. All of it is endearing.
I really liked the facial expressions of the characters. They were very expressive for like those 3D that era of
For
time.
that time, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. I would definitely say that I hate putting the clause. Well, for that time is really good, but it was. I think that they were charming, cute, appealing, but I mean they were very dated. But again, there's nothing wrong with dated. It's just what a thing that it was. But I will not criticize them. They were good.
I would argue that if you could up-res those textures and display the game at 1080p or even 720p and have them at 720p or 1080p smoothness, that they'd probably still hold up today. Maybe add a few more frames on the animations, but like, yeah, it's 240p at best, and so it's all blocky and pixelated and stuff. But
yes, Skunkworks wants us to talk about the trivia minigame. We definitely need to talk about the boobs.
What trivia? Oh, the boobs. Yeah, the boobs. Good Lord. Every time I got one right, she was swinging in my direction.
It was very nice. I mean, it was interesting and informative.
That was the real graphical advancement of the late PS1 era. It was not like, the textures and the coloration. It was jiggle physics. Jiggle physics all the way.
You know how in PG-13 movies, they're kind of given leeway for one F-bomb?
Mm-hmm.
In this is a game that was rated E for everyone. That was the one thing they could put in to get away with in a teen rating, but still be able to keep it at an E rating.
The fact that it wiggled?
The jiggle physics and the heavy cleavage line, yes.
I would love it if they could have gotten a teen rating for like one F-bomb. I would love Roll to be like, Mega Man, why can't you get your fucking shit together?
Oh, man. When Tronbon was pretending to be Roll, that would be perfect. Mega Man, you're a fuckwit, aren't you? What, Roll?
Joking about those sweet anime titties aside, that was such an unexpected little treat to find in the game. But the actual trivia itself was a lot of fun. If you were willing to go the distance and do the 100 without Wikipedia to help you, that had to have been quite a feeling to make it all the way through.
Yeah, I had a notepad when I was a kid, and I wrote every single fucking answer down when I got it right.
I have to say, I probably had more fun doing that trivia part with you guys than watching the rest of the game. But that's just because that's my brand, so it's fine.
Well, it doesn't help that, like Barry said earlier, that I was trying to streamline the gameplay, and I wasn't really utilizing many things towards upgrades, and I was struggling. Man, the middle of that game, Mega Man Legends 2, if you haven't gone through and found the things to get yourself as many upgrades as possible at that point, that's a huge struggle, because it's constant onslaught after onslaught from the non-bonds. I forget their names at this point. But man, it's like one battle after another in succession, and after you're done, you have to go to another place that has another onslaught of battles, one after the other. And then if you get through that, you come back, and then you have to do another battle onslaught, one after the other. It's just a really... It ruined... I want to say it ruined the mood. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it broke any pacing, but it definitely ruined the mood. Like, there's still plenty of action. You're still dealing with things in your face, but there's no exploration. There's no fun things to find. You're just surviving. It's a survival. Right. It's like a little mini survival mode in the middle of the game, and it just, I don't know, if you didn't have the upgrades to survive that, as I don't think I really did, even though I survived. Never mind. I think that would be a point where a lot of people would just put the game down.
Yeah, because I was kind of wondering, like Grimace says, he's not alone in that other people were also expressing they like the first one compared to the second one. And I was
Hmm.
having kind of a hard time for the first third of the game understanding why, because the second game really is quite fleshed out compared to the first one. It's the game that I think they probably wanted to deliver the first go around, but
Hmm.
then you get past the trivia part and you're really getting into the grind of the game, and I kind of better understood that point of view. And that was one of two things that really took Legends 2 down for me in points, among the sound that we'll get to second. I tell you what, I would love to end on a more positive note here, but since we're already on the topic of the graphics, to me, I think that was by far the best thing about these games. The fun mood was really great.
Yeah.
Um, the music, not always bangers, but were atmospheric. The graphics there really shined. I mean, again, that art style was, just absolutely solid.
Yeah.
And I would have just taken for granted the facial expressions and stuff that they had. Those are really charming. But when I was doing my research for Vagrant Story, our first game of the month, there was a lot of talk by the developers of that game as to how challenging that was, because you have such a limited amount of memory to work with on the PlayStation 1. I want to say it's like a megabyte. And the graphics might have a little bit of extra memory. I might be getting this a little bit wrong here, but it's not a lot. And you're having to share the sound, the graphics, and everything. You've just got that little bit to work with. So to throw those extra little touches in real time, we take that for granted now, but that wasn't something that was easy to do. So I kind of appreciated reading, Vagrant Story. This has nothing in common with this game, but that kind of development feedback of like just getting those little things in mattered a lot to them. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, beautiful. I think if you've ever heard of the DuckStation emulator, DuckStation allows you to play PS1 games and take out like the kind of like, have you ever noticed how PS1 games are kind of wiggly because it
Yeah.
doesn't have that floating point calculation to do texture alignment right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, you can get rid of that. I think it supports upgraded textures, and I'm really just surprised nobody's thought to re-release this game or remaster it in some way, because it's begging for one. It looks phenomenal. And at one point, I think this was Mega Man Legends 2. I noticed there was, or no, actually, I think it was the first one, but there was a point in the game you were by like a cliffside, and I noticed like more details on the cliff were loading in the closer that you get to it. And you weren't seeing a lot of like level of detail options in games of that era. Just you
Yeah,
didn't have
really.
resources to work with. So the fact that they were willing to put something in like that, they didn't have to, but they did it. And I immediately noticed it was almost like a tessellation effect too. It made
Yeah,
that cliff face look a little bit rockier and stuff. No reason they had to do that, but they did it. And I just thought
Mhm.
that's really cool.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. To your Vagrant Story thing, I had a thought. Hang on. I almost lost it. I think I lost it. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. To your Vagrant Story comment about them needing to remake it, don't count it out. Square and Capcom both are going through some things. Like I would have never expected a Tactics Ogre remaster. I would have never expected a Chrono Cross remaster, but we
Hmm.
have them. So don't count it out. Vagrant Story. I don't think it was too well received back in the day, or at least too well sold. Um, but it could see. And on top of that, Capcom has been re-releasing seemingly every Mega Man game. They've got the Mega Man collections. You've got 1 through 8 now. You've got the Mega Man X collection, which is Mega Man X 1 through 7. You've got the, what is it, Star Force collection or Battle Network collection? Where it's got, isn't there a Battle Network collection? I think there is. You've got the Mega
I
Man
think so.
Zero collection, which has 0, 1 through 4, and ZX 1 and 2, I believe. I'm hoping they actually go through and do a Mega Man Legends collection with all 3 games, 1 and 2 and Misadventures of Tron. I don't have high hopes, and if they ever do that, I and all the other fans are going to sit there and wonder if this means they're working on 3 again. But I don't know. I never count it out anymore. Companies do.
Oh, I'm not
companies do
counting it
strange
out.
things all the time.
Yeah, I'm not counting it out. I would not complain to see it one bit. We seem to have gotten a little bit of a Vagrant story tangent going on in chat here. And I mean, anything is possible. I mean, Square, they made like a full 3D remake of their game. I believe it's pronounced Live Alive. That game never even made it outside of the US.
Oh
It got
yeah,
a,
the 2.5
it got-
HD.
yeah, it got a fan translation, and that was about it. But they made a remake of that, so anything definitely is possible. Um, I was wanting to say, I think I covered everything that I wanted to for the graphics of both games. Really impressed by that. Just to double back, I know we still need to get to the music, right? But one thing I
Yeah.
want to double back to with the gameplay is I'm just really surprised that you didn't see more of that kind of modular weapon stuff come together a little bit better. Like I wasn't too kind of impressed with like your weapon choices because it kind of just seemed like you had one or two weapons that worked really well for you and you kind of just upgrade them, but there's no variety. Whereas in all the previous Mega Man games, the whole gameplay centers around you having the right weapon for the right battle. And I'm
That
just
that has a lot to do
I'm a
with the
little
fact that I didn't explore much in
okay.
either game. There's a lot more sub weapons in both games that I didn't really get into. There's a lot. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but every time I went to talk to Roll in Mega Man Legends 2 specifically about development, you saw my huge list of things on there, and all of them, every single one was like, "Oh, this would be cool if you had something that did this." And I didn't find those other pieces. I didn't find those other pieces. It's usually like 2 or 3 different pieces that can combine together from Roll's development. To make another sub weapon, and there are so many in Mega Man Legends 2 that I just didn't explore enough to find the parts to make. So
Okay, well that's fair.
don't let that dampen your expectation of a Mega Man game and its sub weapon expectation because it's there. It's not given to you in the main point of the game like the other Mega Man games do.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, the game really promotes its exploration. And if I had gone, taken another stream to go back and get my S rank license and go to all the different dig sites that require S rank licenses, I probably would have found a lot of those items. And if I'd gone back through the water temple to get on that really high cliff that I never went back for, probably would have found a sub weapon there. There's a whole bunch of reward for exploring. It feels a lot like Mario 64's, or even let's go further, Mario Odyssey's exploration rewards.
Okay.
Just a lot of things in hidden little corners that you wouldn't really expect to really, like, you wouldn't expect most people to take the time to go to, but if you do, there are things all over the place that you can be rewarded by. It's not to the granular degree that Odyssey did. Obviously, Odyssey is several generations in the future, and a lot of developers have learned a lot along the way. But it's the same feel. It's the same feel of like, man, there's this ruins. It's all the way over here, out of the way. I don't really care. Oh, hey, I found the thing that I need for this other thing. And oh my God, it's a weapon that's really good against this specific thing that I'm on right now.
Okay, that's fair. I think going forward, I'm going to have to really, because I played a little bit of these games, just mostly to kind of get a feel for the controls, because I know that was a point of discussion early on.
Mm-hmm.
But it is very hard to judge a game accurately when you're really just watching it vicariously.
Yeah, that's true.
You did better than I did. I mean, you actually played the game a little of the game at all. I didn't play any of it. I just watched it. So,
Fair enough. So, I think we've pretty much discovered everything except for the music. What are you guys and your hot takes on that?
I agree with you. One has a lot of good music, and 2 feels kind of just ambiance, whatever the word is.
amniotic.
Sure. Whatever floats your boat.
Just a few. Never mind. Anyway, my hot take is that again, I will agree that the first game had a better soundtrack than the second soundtrack. Something that kind of blew my mind a lot in the second one is like the extensive use of royalty-free music. Like
Yeah.
feature like Vivaldi's Four Seasons, and I'm like, this is Capcom. This, like, they can't pay for like a fancy sounding like song for the ballroom sequence or something like that. I mean, I just remember feeling like listening to that and just kind of laughing at it a little bit.
All
which is like,
of the budget went to titties. Once they put the
Titty.
titties on there, they were out. They had to get the game out the door.
I mean, I guess
I
they
was
put the
gonna
money
say-
in the right place, but still.
I was going to say voice acting, but yeah, titties. That's right. Every polygon costs a sweet little dime.
That's right. Worth every penny. Yeah, that was I feel a little bit of a hypocrite because I know when I was watching you play the first game, I thought I really wish there was more music because there was a lot of segments of the first game where there was dead air. It was
Yeah.
just pure sound, but the music that you did hear was really good. Whereas Mega Man Legends 2 addresses that issue. It has more things going on in terms of the music. There's not a lot of dead air, and I like that a lot. Except, yeah, we've talked about this a little bit off camera in a couple of conversations leading up to our post-mortem today. 2 is very atmospheric. It is a little generic. And that really, I had to ding this game hard because of that. And I think it's just because we got so spoiled by all these Mega Man games that came before it having absolute banger soundtracks. Like,
Yeah.
nobody was better at 8-bit and 16-bit compositions than Capcom, except
Yeah.
maybe Konami, right? They were
Yeah.
neck and neck for the most part. But Mega Man's got some great music, and you've got the PlayStation 1 hardware that can play CD quality music, or really just the best MIDI that you can throw at it. It's still good. And that was just such a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from on that for sure. I was going to argue that I would say Mega Man Legends 2 has the same amount of good music as Mega Man Legends 1, but because it's such a bigger and broader game compared to the first one, those tunes are segmented out a lot further, and you do have a lot more of that the ambiance filling the void, as opposed to having some dead air here and there, but mostly having some good music.
Yeah, we had 6 tracks at one point for BG picks, and I ended up cutting mine from Mega Man Legends 2. That was, let's see, it was the Ruins theme from Manda. And like I thought that was pretty chill and nice, and it hit the right like melodic, little feelings in my brain here, but we were already like over, 16 minutes at that point. And, it's just, even then, it wasn't like anything that just made me go, wow, like that's a great composition, but it was one of the nicer points too. Really just kind of disappointing, I guess. But again, we just got spoiled by all this great music that came before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with Grimace's comment there as well. While it would have been nice to have music for sure, it does really set the mood of there being no music in these underground, unexplored areas.
So I'm going to talk about a completely different game here, but there is a PS1 game that does this to fantastic effect. And it's a game that I would love to maybe see us get together and play on stream around Halloween. And it's a PS1 game called Hell Knight. It has very little actual music. It's mostly it's a survival horror game, and you're being chased the entire game by this monster that is constantly evolving as you go through the game. It will make me scream like a child, and I'm not even like ashamed of it. I think that's kind of what Grimace is saying here, and I kind of felt similar vibes too. I respect that, right? I understand that it's trying to set up a mood. I don't know. I just think it works maybe better in a different game than a Mega Man.
Yeah.
But
Yes. Absolutely.
if you guys want a really good example of that, I would love to bring that to you around Halloween.
Clock Tower kind of does the same deal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
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 All right.
So
Yeah. What's our final opinion on these games?
Oh, these are 4.5 for me for sure. That was a lot of fun. Even in the frustration that I had with two, both games were just so wonderful. They didn't overstay their welcome. They were short enough, but long enough to keep an interest. And I just really love these games.
Awesome, and we love that. Like you can tell. I think if maybe I had played the game by myself, I would have probably enjoyed it, but maybe not quite as much as like watching somebody that really just thrives on playing something play it. You feel that energy. So
Absolutely.
I definitely respect that. Nicole, what did you think of them?
Well, I mean, no one's really giving number ratings. I mean, besides, well, I guess Scott gave a 4.5 and you said 3. So everyone's giving number ratings. I haven't given mine yet. I thought about that a lot. I would have to agree with Barry. It's not that I think they're bad games, and I know, like you said, a 3 is over half, so it's not a bad, but I would give it a 3. Again, it's just not a kind of game that appeals to me to play, but I can see that you love it, and it was fun to watch you play it, and I had a good time doing so. And I got into it more than I thought I was going to. I liked the music, I liked the graphics, I liked everything about the world. It's just not a game that I think I would like pick off a shelf and be like, I'm going to play this and have a great time. It's just not that I wouldn't enjoy it. I just wouldn't pick it off the shelf to play it. So, I can't give it a bad review. I would say a 3 is what kind of I'm thinking for like both of them as a series together.
I was just about to ask that because my 3 was just for the first one. So you would say 3 for both?
Yeah, I would say like a combined 3. I would probably, if I had to break it down, I would probably say like a 3.5 for 1 and a 2.75 for 2.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I came into this kind of with my reviews, and my ratings. I thought they were set, right? My biggest concerns with the first game, we've talked about those. With the second game, a lot was done to address, what the first lacked. But then I saw some issues in terms of just really grindy. And if you didn't want to grind, you're going to have a very frustrating time. And you may not even why, because it's like, hey, I'm doing everything right. I've got the weak points. I'm just going around. Why is this taking forever? And, just kind of a lackluster soundtrack compared to the first. Going into this, I was a solid 3.5 out of 5. But the more that I talked about you, with your thoughts on the game and maybe some experiences that you've had, but I haven't had a chance to have because I haven't played it myself, that again touches on it's just really hard to rate a game vicariously if you're not there to really experience it.
Yeah.
And my concerns are, it's like, okay, you finish this game, what are your incentives to come back and play more? Because replayability really does matter when it comes to, how good and how time tested a game will be. And the more that I've talked about it, I feel like there's just so much here if you're willing to give it a chance. And because there is so much there's almost no way that you would catch all of that on the first or even second playthrough. I mean, you would really have to revisit it, I think, to really flesh out your feel for the game. And that addresses the replayability and the grindy concerns that I have. And so that rating that I walked in here with, I've got to kind of just throw it out the window. And I made a big step today. I've left the 3s because I would like to walk away from Mega Man Legends 2 with a 4 out of 5. I think this is a really solid. Wow, indeed. Hold on.
You got to do it.
Wow!
The both of you.
Yeah, I'm walking out of this with a 4. I think it's a great late PS1 game. Obviously, the developers have grown to understand the system. I wish that the game had a little bit more of some of that 2D Mega Man charm. I think that it would have worked well here, but it kind of sounds like maybe it has more than I gave it credit for. And again, I can't. I'd have to actually go and play it to appreciate it for myself. So aside from a lackluster soundtrack, this is a really solid game. And that might be my rating, but I definitely see why you think this is a 4.5.
Well, now I feel like an asshole, so thank you for that.
There's no asshole for a low rating. You have your opinion. You don't have to cater to the people
I'm
that
not.
love the
I'm not
game.
going to. I'm not going to change my rating. I'm going to stick to it. But that being said, I do want to say that, like, take that rating with an extreme grain of salt because I did not play the game.
Yeah.
I know what a difference that playing a game versus watching a game can have on the opinion of a game. So if I had played that game, maybe I would have given it a 4. I don't know, but I didn't play it. But just based on watching it, that's what I will give it. I didn't have as much fun watching it as I had watching other games. So
you should try it out.
yeah, maybe I
Explore
will
all
try
the
it out.
cracks, and since you consider yourself an asshole, just clinch yourself.
Yeah, no, maybe I will explore those cracks. I'll get deep down in there.
You get some assholes, some cracks, and some titties, and baby, you've got a Mega Man game going.
Sounds like a Tuesday night around here.
Hey. So can you really give a game a 4.5 if there's no chocobo racing? Look, we had the option of either chocobo racing or boobies. I think we picked the right one.
I will pick boobies every time. I'm just saying.
Every time. So how about that ending, huh?
Yeah, I got the same energy watching the Mega Man Legends 2 ending that I got watching the ending of Gabriel Knight 3, which had the most frustrating ending of all time because, like, there was this, they set it up for an obvious sequel that just never happened.
Oh,
Same
it
thing
almost
with
did, though.
the same thing with the Shenmue games. They just set up for like endings that never happened. And even when years and years later they came out with Shenmue 3, they did not end the story, which they should have just taken the opportunity to end it when they could.
Nicole,
So,
why did you have to bring that pain up? I've tried so hard to suppress it since
I
the
will
last
keep on
time
bringing
we
it.
talked. Since the last time we talked about it,
I will never talk about Shenmue. Never not to talk about Shenmue. I still want to do Shenmue as a game of the month here. In fact, that will be the game I will be trying to push for myself on after I finish Lunar 2. So please look forward to it, everyone.
that's not a bad choice. I would definitely vote for Shenmue. I haven't even really thought about what game I would nominate for the next one because I've been so focused getting myself mentally ready for Earthbound, which is going to be our next game of the month.
I know that there's definitely been some talk about La Mulana. Another one I would love to see, whoever plays it, whether it be me play it or you play it, Barry, is Snatcher. I think that would make for a good game of the month.
Oh, I've been wanting to play that one.
Yeah, I think that's the group participation element of that definitely is there.
Yeah. Well, maybe Scott will play it. He said he wanted to play it, so who knows?
Hey, it
I'm
doesn't
down
matter
for
who
that.
plays it. I'm down to hang out and watch. I'm down to play. I see a lot of, since I've gotten into FPGA preservation type stuff, I see a lot of people using Snatcher as like one of the Sega CD games to play. And it's like, man,
for sure. Yeah, it's
I gotta
it's
find some
definitely
time
one
to
of the
sit
best.
down with that. But I've been pretty busy. I haven't gotten into the ones that I want to check out, let alone the ones that I think look cool and I want to put on the list.
It is a pure and unapologetic ripoff of Blade Runner, but in the best way. It's fantastic, and you're right. It is one of the best games on the Sega CD, a system that truly did deserve better.
That whole generation deserved better, and I don't know what they were thinking. Like, oh, we got a new system coming out, but wait, you can keep your old system because we have an attachment for it. But wait, there's another attachment for it, and you can enhance your Sonic games. But wait, don't forget, we still have a console coming out.
Everybody loves the idea of lots of variety and choices, but the parallelization of choice is a real thing. Like, you ever go to a restaurant and it's just their menu is just so wide and varied. It's like, I don't even know where the fuck to start. Just give me some Cheetos. God.
Well, hang on, you ever download the full list of ROMs and try to decide on which game to play?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of the same vibe. But yeah, if you're in the '90s, not only you had a lot of choice, there's a lot of experimentation, but unfortunately, the consumer ended up holding the bag for a lot of that, right? Because you had to kind of make a decision. It's like, am I gonna go with a Nintendo 64? Or what about this shiny Philips CDI over here? I hear they're doing really great stuff over there, and you come to just find out you really wish you had gotten that Nintendo 64.
You get what you pay for. That's why I paid $600 for an Atari Jaguar.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I for one am glad that I don't necessarily have to be afraid that I'm throwing $300 away for a console that's going to get one, maybe two good games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was talking more about the Saturn. There are some good gems on the Saturn, but man, Sega really dropped the ball with the Saturn, and they almost saved themselves with the Dreamcast, but it just wasn't enough.
Just too little and too late. God, I love
Too
my
soon.
Dreamcast.
Actually, it was too soon.
Honestly, Dreamcast
Yeah.
is the best console of all time, and I am still salty about its failure.
I
I
disagree,
say that not
but I
yeah.
respect it.
I say that like I'm with you, Nicole. I love the Dreamcast just as like a vanilla straight out of the store console too. But God, what a great system for homebrew. You could get all
Mhm.
kinds of like emulators, like audio players and stuff too. It was lit.
It was a pioneer. It had so much potential that just it never materialized, and it makes me
Mhm.
so sad and angry and ugh.
People have been here recently, in recent years, they have been porting Atomis Wave arcade games to the Dreamcast for like native play.
Nice.
Like Atomis Wave games used Dreamcast hardware in the arcade cabinets,
Mhm.
and these super fans have been like, "Hey, we can play them at home without any emulation, just by using them natively on the Dreamcast." And they have found a way to backpedal some of that, reverse engineer some of that code, and get it working natively on Dreamcast systems. It's been really cool.
My first time trying to play Earthbound was actually on an emulator running on the Dreamcast. I think we probably used the same emulator. Dream SNES was the Super Nintendo emulator of choice back then, and it didn't run full speed, so you had to start cutting out some of your finer features, like I think transparencies. I turned sound off for the most part. You would often have to get like the PAL versions of games because they ran at 50 frames. It wasn't as intensive for the emulator, so you could playably get through some games and have better luck than with the North American versions. But that is how I got through Romancing Saga 3, and I'd never watched the anime, so this game is completely lost on me. But I remembered enjoying Magic Knight Rare, the RPG for Super Nintendo. Look, man, it was
That has
summer.
an
I had
anime?
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no
Yeah,
idea.
well,
I just thought it was a cool
manga.
game.
It was a manga first, and then an anime, and then
Why isn't that always how it goes?
yeah.
Like it's always a book and then it's made into a movie here in the States?
Same thing with Record of Lodoss War.
Now that I knew.
Yeah.
God, I'm going to go on a tangent on that, because have you played the Deedlit game?
I've not. I've heard about it though.
It's
Neither have I.
such a good little Metroidvania. So good. So
Oh.
good. I think there's a demo.
Excellent times.
Anyway, yeah. So
I think I think Working Designs did a translation. I think that was the Saturn version of Magic Knight, which I have not played.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was gonna say we have we're having a great time, but we are off on several tangents away from Mega Man Legends itself. It may be a good time to call it a night.
I agree. Guys, as always, it's fantastic. I always think, oh, we're going to totally get these streams knocked out in an hour, and we just ramble. It's what we do. And 2 hours later, it's like, well, where the fuck did my evening go? But
I always assume that the postmortems will be 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then it might be less, it might be a little more, but I think 2 hours is a good guesstimate. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
this is why I plan everything. This is why I ask when we're all meeting up. Before anyone gives me any shit next time, this is why I do this. So
Hey, you were the only one who came on at the time I specified.
I was 1 minute
appreciate
late,
that.
sir. 1 minute. And that fried rice was absolutely worth it. But
That's
again,
Yeah, I
neither here nor
agree.
there.
I
That's
agree. I didn't
because
even
I'm a
have it.
goddamn. That's because I'm a goddamn professional, and yes, I know I'm not a professional, but you know what I mean.
You
Well,
said goddamn. I was
how
expecting
dare
you to say
you?
goddess.
How dare you, Nicole, know our natures, having spent so much time with us better than we do?
I know. I have a habit of knowing people better than they know themselves. It's just a thing I do.
Indeed. Well, guys, shall we wrap this up and look forward to our next game of the month coming up on Thursday?
Earthbound.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Heck yeah.
Yay.
Looking forward to it, man. I haven't.
I am looking forward to it. Yeah.
I have never played Earthbound. I keep looking at the series and I'm like, okay, here's Earthbound. That's the one we got. But now there's Earthbound Beginnings, which they released on the Wii U Virtual Console and the 3DS Virtual Console. And there's a really well done fan translation of Mother 3 for the Game Boy Advance. Oh my goodness. Now I'm sitting here looking at the series.
I would love to play Mother 3 someday. I have not. I played a little bit of Earthbound Beginnings back before it got the official release. I don't know all that much about Mother 3, so maybe one day. Maybe that'll be a game of the month. Who knows?
Maybe someday. But like you were saying with choice paralysis, it's like, okay, there's 3 games. Do I want to play it? Do I just want to play Earthbound because that's what we got? Or do I want to play like the series in release order or blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, everyone else. Thank you, chat, for coming in and hanging out with us, chatting with us. This was fun.
It's always the best. It's always the best part to see the chat interacting. So thank you, everyone, for being here.
Yeah,
we love you guys. Thank you for showing up. And again, Scott, thank you so much for hosting tonight.
Yes.
In spite of the technical issues, we made it happen.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on, but my GPU is screaming like a banshee right now. I got to check that out after we get off of here.
Like a stupid little girl.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Sure, but yeah. But also want to say thank you for playing the game. It was a lot of fun, and you did a great job.
Yes, thank you for playing it, Scott.
Well, thank you everyone else for joining the streams and cheering me on and just having a good time. It was a lot of fun. It was good stuff.
Sounds good. Well, thanks everyone.
Yeah, everybody have a good night. Bye-bye.
You guys take care. Bye.
Bye.